you know by now that Jesse McFadden took a gun and gunned down 6 people, including 5 kids, his wife and then himself. And this was where presumably he was living. And not just part-time, because it looks like there's evidence of them living there a long time. This is the living room. So I do want to show you that there are some brand new angles and things that we've highlighted that we didn't see before. A lot of computer equipment that was not seized, wasn't taken, hard drives, etc., all around here. You can see evidence that would have plenty of DNA on it, maybe hair fibers, follicles, anything that could identify other victims, maybe other perpetrators, still sitting there for the families to videotape. Families. Families. This is what's so frustrating, is that it's the families doing this. It's not the police. The police should have cataloged every single inch of that horror home, but it's the families doing it. Don't know if the police eventually went in, but it was after the families. So the up-close pictures show a lot of restraints. You've seen some of them before, but you haven't seen all of them. And with regard to the restraints, there are restraints not just in the floor, there's the bathroom, there's also restraints on the walls. There's a restraint on the kitchen counter. What are you doing? What are you doing restraining someone to the kitchen counter? Locks, padlocks, chains. And then we also have evidence from the families again that they moved a dresser and they found restraints in, behind a dresser, taped to the back of a dresser that the police were not interested in. They actually said to the family member, no, it's fine. Unless you want it, you can throw it out. Unless you want it. What's the family member going to do with a bunch of sex restraints in a sex torture dungeon? And why on earth would you not think that there's DNA, skin cells, something on Velcro restraints that were discovered behind a dresser? Again, family members finding all of this. Now let's go into the hallway. Because in the hallway, I'm going to pause as we get down the hallway. I want you to take a close look at the door. Because if you look at the hallway door to that closet at the end that has a chair in it, you'll actually notice that there is a deadbolt lock on the outside. Outside, meaning you can lock someone inside that room. Maybe that's why there was a chair in there, but a deadbolt lock on the outside, keeping someone in potentially. Now I have video that we had not seen before of the girls' bedroom. That was something that made us very uncomfortable, because now knowing what the other rooms look like, this looked as though it was a regular teenage bedroom. It's just confounding to know that feet away are sex toys and weapons and drugs and syringes and restraints, chains, padlocks to the floor, to the walls. There's clothes in the closet for teenage girls. There's bedding that's still there. Nobody decided that maybe any DNA might be on that bedding that could be tested. Clouds on the ceilings, just like a normal teenager would have. Posters on the walls, toys, clothing. How long had this house been a torture chamber and a sex dungeon? And how long had it been teenage girls and a teenage boy living there with their mom and their stepdad of the last year? But this is just so uncomfortable to think it looks like such a normal bedroom inside that house of horrors. And by the way, those dungeony things were not hiding anywhere. They were right there in the living room. They were right there in the kitchen. They were right there in the bathroom. They were right there everywhere. The drugs, the needles, the marijuana chocolate, the drawer full of drugs and alcohol, all of it was right out in the open. It wasn't being hidden from the kids that were clearly living there. So you now have to wonder, what was life like for those kids? Did they just think that's normal? Or were they part of it? In the computer room, one of the things about this house is that there were just so many computers, just multiple computers. Maybe they were for innocent teenagers doing their homework, and maybe they were for filming and storing and shipping porn, snuff porn, who knows? Nobody checked, because the computers were all left behind, so were the hard drives, which is just unbelievable. To not just me, to the experts who've seen this, to the families who were gobsmacked by the fact that nobody wanted to check the keyboard for, DNA. Who was on that keyboard? It's unbelievable. There's a room with a lot of bags in it as well. And one of the things about the bags is that they were stuffed so full, it's hard to know what was in them. Could it be mementos, clothing, personal effects, belongings of potential former victims that came through that house? Hard to tell, don't know. Certainly the families were too nervous and worried about handling the bags up on, look at all these bags up on the shelves. The families thought, well, don't touch them because the police surely will. Police left them behind, didn't want to know. Could it be a missing child's clothing, personal effects stuffed into those bags and stuffed up on a high counter or a high shelf? Who knows? And then Michael's room, the teenage boy. Inside Michael's room, hunting equipment, bows, knives. Don't know if they belong to Jesse. Don't know if they belong to the teenage boy. Have they been checked for human DNA? Could it have been possible since Jesse McFadden murdered 6 people? Maybe he murdered someone else? Maybe. Is it such a far conclusion? They were left behind. No one checked. And then the white car outside the house. The white car that, vanished the day after the police were there. Here's a close-up. The families looked inside to get a peek at what was in that car. Word is now it was Holly's car, possibly taken by her mom, Jan. But shouldn't the police have this impounded? Shouldn't they be taking every single piece of trace evidence out of there? Maybe there was someone in the trunk at some point. Maybe Holly was a perpetrator. Maybe her husband, Jesse, used her car to kidnap kids. Maybe is a big word here. All this evidence left behind, and then suddenly the car is gone. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.